The stage lights blaze and the studio audience's applause thunders through the arena. The host strides out, flashing a radiant smile, raising a hand to greet the live crowd and millions streaming on platforms like X and YouTube. Welcome to the ultimate talk show showdown, where two media titans clash in an unrelenting battle of wits and truth. The host gestures to one side. Karoline Leavitt, 27, the youngest White House press secretary in history, a fierce MAGA warrior known for her unyielding loyalty to President Trump and her razor-sharp ability to take on left-leaning media. Leavitt strides out, her red dress striking, her smile confident, her gaze piercing. The host pivots. And Rachel Maddow, 52, MSNBC star and host of The Rachel Maddow Show, a progressive journalist beloved by the left but criticized for her relentless attacks on Trump. Maddow appears in a deep blue suit, her eyes cautious, the audience split between cheers and boos. The host's voice crackles with excitement. Leavitt is here to defend President Trump and expose the hypocrisy of left-leaning media. Maddow is determined to dismantle the Trump administration from DOGE to Elon Musk. But tonight, Leavitt brings a secret that could shake everything. Before we dive in, comment where you're watching from and hit subscribe to stay locked into the latest stories. The host stands at a sleek round table, raising a hand. First debate round: Elon Musk's Tesla, resounding success or business disaster? Maddow stands clutching a thick stack of documents, stepping closer to the audience. Her voice is calm, each word deliberate. Tesla is plummeting, and the main culprit is Elon Musk and his alliance with Trump. The numbers don't lie. Tesla's profits dropped 71%, from $1.4 billion to $400 million in the latest quarter. The Cybertruck, Musk's pet project, is a humiliating failure. Sales down 50%, from 20,000 to 10,000 units. Tesla's stock lost 30% of its value in 6 months, far worse than the auto industry's 15% average. Customers and investors are turning away because Musk neglects Tesla to chase DOGE in politics. Tesla is no longer an innovation icon. It's collapsing. Leavitt rises, holding a slim data sheet, her gaze focused like a strategist's. Her voice is low but cuts like a blade. Rachel, you've spun a touching story, but it lacks truth. Tesla isn't collapsing. It's leading the world, and I have proof. She raises the data sheet, her voice growing forceful. Tesla holds 25% of the global electric vehicle market, double its closest rival. Last year, they spent $5 billion on R&D, more than any automaker. Cybertruck sales down? True, but it still commands 10% of the premium EV market, surpassing Rivian's 5%. Rachel claims Musk's to blame for Tesla's profit drop. Wrong. The entire auto industry is struggling. GM lost 20%, Ford 15%. Tesla is adjusting to dominate the future. The audience claps, murmurs of approval spreading. Leavitt sets the data sheet down, hands on hips, eyes challenging. You say Musk neglects Tesla for DOGE. Fact is, DOGE cut $2 billion in corporate taxes, letting Tesla invest more. You say the public's turning away? Tesla sold 1.2 million vehicles last year, up 10% from the year before. Rachel, you cherry-pick data to smear Musk, but the truth isn't on your side. Maddow frowns, standing to counter. Karoline, you can't deny Tesla's stock dropped 30%. Investors are losing faith in Musk. Leavitt responds swiftly. Stock drops are a market trend, Rachel. The S&P 500 auto sector lost 18% in the same period. Tesla still leads with a $700 billion market cap, triple Ford's. Musk abandoned by investors? Then why did shareholders approve his $56 billion compensation package? Rachel, you have no argument, just fabricated stories. Maddow tries to regain composure, her voice slightly rushed. Karoline, you're deflecting. Musk puts politics above Tesla, and that's why the company's failing. Leavitt shakes her head, her gaze unflinching. Tesla opened 3 new factories in Asia and Europe, creating 20,000 jobs per company reports. Musk is the industry's best CEO, steering Tesla through a global supply chain crisis. Rachel, if you want to talk failure, look at the numbers you brought. They don't hold up. Maddow sits, rubbing her forehead, tension visible. Leavitt returns to her seat, adjusting her dress, eyes sharp, ready for the next round. The audience buzzes, some holding Karoline is truth signs. The host steps in, voice booming like a boxing announcer. Round 2. DOGE policy, reform or destruction? Maddow stands, her voice measured but forceful. DOGE is a stain on American government history. It obliterates jobs and robs people's futures. Data shows DOGE fired 10,000 federal employees, per the Washington Post. It cut $500 million from medical research, per the National Institutes of Health. They even plan to slash $1 billion from Social Security, per the Social Security Administration. Federal unemployment rose 0.5%, per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. DOGE doesn't reform, it destroys American lives for Trump and Musk's benefit. Leavitt counters, raising a sheet of paper, her voice a powerful current. DOGE saved taxpayers $10 billion and eliminated $700 million in wasteful spending. The 10,000 employees fired, 80% were reassigned to new roles. Medical research cut? Yes, but the budget remains $40 billion annually. Social Security? Not a single benefit was touched. Only 0.2% of administrative costs were streamlined. Rachel, you call it destruction, but DOGE boosted efficiency in 5 federal agencies by 15%. You say unemployment rose? The national rate is still 3.8%, a record low. DOGE doesn't steal futures. It builds a government that serves the people. Maddow shoots up, voice rising. Karoline, you can't deny $500 million was cut from medical research. That's human lives. Leavitt responds, her voice ringing. That money came from redundant projects, not life-saving research. DOGE reallocated funds for efficiency. Do you have evidence medical research was harmed, or just baseless accusations? Maddow hesitates, flipping through her documents but finding nothing. It's public data, she repeats, her voice weakening. The audience boos, some holding Leavitt undefeated signs. Rachel, you claim DOGE threatens Social Security with a $1 billion cut, but the Social Security Administration confirms no such proposal exists. Where did you get that? Or did you make it up to scare seniors? Maddow grips her pen, voice trembling. I have sources from reliable reports. Leavitt fires back. Rachel, Americans need truth, not lies. DOGE proves government can work efficiently, putting people first. The audience remains rapt, applause mixing with murmurs as the host introduces the next round. Round 3, anti-Trump protests, genuine anger or orchestrated plot? Maddow stands quickly, her voice slow but shaky. The protests against Trump and Musk are the voice of Americans furious at their cruel policies. Data shows 50,000 people took to the streets across 20 states in the past 3 months. In Minnesota alone, 5,000 protested Social Security cuts. A Pew Research survey says 70% of Americans are concerned about Trump's policies. This isn't political theater, it's real public anger. Leavitt raises a document, her voice steady. 60% of those protests were funded by progressive groups with $2 million per the Federal Election Commission. Rachel says 5,000 in Minnesota. Local police reports show 300 to 500 per event. 50,000 across 20 states? That includes unrelated events like climate protests, the Pew survey you cited. You forgot to mention 55% of Americans support Trump's immigration and trade policies. Leavitt sets the document down, hands on hips. Rachel, you call this genuine anger? These protests were organized by groups with clear political agendas. DOGE, which you criticize, is backed by 60% of small businesses for cutting regulations. Americans want results, not paid crowds. Maddow retorts, Karoline, you can't deny 50,000 people marched. That's the people's voice, not a conspiracy. Leavitt smiles faintly, her voice sharp. Did you know $1.5 million was spent on buses and signs for those protests, or that some participants were paid $50 a day? If that's genuine anger, it's bought, not felt. Rachel, you claim 5,000 protested in Minnesota. Fact is, only 1,200 attended the 3 largest events. If you want to talk people's voice, talk about the 75% of Americans who want a more efficient government. Maddow clenches her fists. Karoline, you're twisting the truth. People are angry at Trump. Leavitt tilts her head, gaze steady. Rachel, people are angry at fabricated stories from outlets like MSNBC. Trump and DOGE deliver results. 3.8% unemployment, a record low, per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If you want to talk protests, talk about Americans supporting Trump because he puts the country first. Maddow, after 3 losses, sits upright, gripping her pen, eyes tense. Leavitt, relaxed, hands lightly on the table, is ready to deliver the final blow. The host steps in, voice echoing. Final round, journalism, ethics, mission, or manipulation? Leavitt stands, her voice resounding. Rachel, all night you've thrown stones at Trump and Musk, but you've never looked at yourself. MSNBC and the Rachel Maddow Show have turned journalism into a political tool, deceiving Americans. I have data. She crosses her arms. In the past 2 years, MSNBC misreported on Trump 15 times, issuing 3 public apologies. A Gallup poll shows 65% of Americans no longer trust cable news, and MSNBC lost 20% of its audience since last year. Rachel, you're not reporting, you're spinning fairy tales. Journalism should be a guiding light, not a partisan weapon. But you've made your show a tool to attack Trump. Truth be damned. Maddow shoots up, voice trembling. Karoline, you're smearing me. Journalism must stand against a regime like Trump's. I report based on public data, and I'm proud of it. Leavitt counters, why didn't you mention 60% of small businesses support DOGE, or that 55% of Americans approve of Trump's trade policies? You cherry-pick data to fit your narrative. That's not journalism, it's deception. Maddow interrupts, voice rising. Karoline, you're just Trump's mouthpiece. You have no right to lecture on ethics. Leavitt presses on. Rachel, I don't need to fabricate to defend President Trump because the truth is on my side. Do you dare admit MSNBC apologized for false Trump reports? Do you dare admit your audience is abandoning you for fake stories? Your duty is to viewers, not sponsors or parties. When you distort truth, you betray your audience. Americans see it, and they're turning away from MSNBC because of people like you. The studio audience is swept into an emotional whirlwind. Leavitt sits, calm as a general certain of victory. Maddow, like a boxer backed into a corner, clutches her documents, eyes frantic. The host, voice flaring, says, Karoline, you promised a bombshell. It's time. What's your secret? Leavitt stands, steps slow but commanding, pausing center stage. Her gaze locks on Maddow, voice resounding. Rachel, all night you've used twisted numbers and fabricated stories to attack Trump, Musk, and DOGE. Now I'll let your own words expose the truth. She raises a small black USB, the audience murmuring. This is a recording from a former MSNBC employee who couldn't stomach your show's deceit. In it, Rachel admits to distorting data on Tesla and DOGE, coordinating with progressive groups to smear Trump. American viewers, hear it for yourselves. The host signals the tech team. A large screen lights up, and Maddow's voice rings out, cold and sharp. We need to push the Tesla collapse narrative, inflate the profit numbers, tie it to DOGE. Trump must be taken down. I've spoken with the DNC team to coordinate. The audience gasps, boos erupting, aimed at Maddow. Some hold Maddow lies signs, others stand pointing at her. Maddow shoots up, face pale, voice quivering. That's fabricated. I never said those things. She points at Leavitt. You're making this up to ruin me. Leavitt leans forward, gaze chilling. I have internal MSNBC emails to prove it. On October 12th, you emailed your executive producer demanding to ramp up Tesla stories and work with outside groups to shape public opinion. Want me to read that email aloud? She holds up a sheet of paper, the light making it gleam. The audience explodes, cheers and boos blending into a tidal wave. Maddow steps back, hands trembling. Karoline, you're playing dirty. I did nothing wrong, she says, voice frail, drowned in the audience's storm. Leavitt steps closer, voice a torrent. Rachel, you've deceived millions. You admitted in that recording to twisting the truth to attack Trump. You call it framing, I call it betrayal. Americans deserve the truth, and today they heard it from your own mouth. Maddow opens her mouth, but only broken sounds emerge. I didn't. That's not me. She sits, clutching her head, eyes lost. The audience boos fiercely, some shouting, Maddow, apologize. Leavitt turns to the crowd, voice a spreading flame. This isn't just about Rachel Maddow. It's about a media system that's lost its mission. MSNBC doesn't report. They manipulate. They don't respect viewers. They deceive. Today we expose that, and this is just the first step to reclaiming honesty. The audience stands, cheers roaring like thunder. A group waves Karoline undefeated signs. Others chant, truth, truth. Leavitt continues, voice shaping the future. Rachel, you had the chance to choose honesty, but you chose wrong. Americans aren't fools. They see who you are, and today they stand with the truth. Maddow, a shadow, doesn't lift her head, hands clutching her face. The host steps forward, raising a hand. Karoline just made history. Rachel, you've been defeated. Leavitt stands, gaze fixed on Maddow like a general claiming victory. Maddow, a broken statue, says nothing, eyes empty. The audience shakes with energy, cheers unrelenting. The host, voice brimming, turns to Leavitt. Karoline, you dropped a media bombshell. What's the impact of this recording? Leavitt responds, voice powerful. Americans are finally seeing the truth. This recording doesn't just expose Rachel Maddow. It lays bare a media system that's lost the public's trust. Today we sent a message. Lies have no place in this country. The audience erupts, a tsunami of cheers filling the studio. Chants of Karoline, Karoline, shake the air. Some hold up phones, filming, while others wave Truth Wins banners. The host raises a hand. This storm has spread beyond the show. Let's check the social media reaction. A massive screen displays a torrent of activity. Maddow lies trends globally with over 2.5 million posts in an hour. Leavitt wins follows, with thousands of talk show clips shared. One viral post reads, Karoline Leavitt obliterated MSNBC. Truth is 1-0. Another, Maddow thought she was untouchable, but Karoline schooled her. The studio crowd roars louder, some whistling, others stomping, holding up phones to capture the screen. The host continues, it's not just social media. The Rachel Maddow show's viewership plummeted 25% during the broadcast. MSNBC sponsors are pulling out, and insider sources say the network's leadership is in an emergency meeting. The audience boos, waving MSNBC crumbles signs. Maddow, like a knocked-out fighter, tries to lift her head, voice frail. This is a smear campaign. I'll keep doing my work. Her words drown in boos, one audience member shouting, You're done, Rachel, prompting laughter. Leavitt stands tall, turning to Maddow, voice sweeping away excuses. Rachel, you can keep going, but Americans have seen who you are. They're done with fabricated stories. They want honesty. Today we've laid the foundation for a better media. The crowd erupts, applause shaking the studio walls. Some chant, truth, truth, while others wave Leavitt forever signs. The screen flashes a post from President Trump. Karoline Leavitt is the fire of truth. She makes America proud. The audience goes wild, clapping, some shouting, Trump, Trump. Conservative media jumps in. Fox News runs. Leavitt destroys Maddow in media showdown. Breitbart hails her as MAGA's general. Newsmax writes, Karoline rewrote the media playbook. A Daily Caller op-ed declares, Maddow was untouchable, but Leavitt proved she's all hype. The crowd cheers each headline, some filming with fervor. The host exclaims, It's not just America. This recording has gone global. International journalists from BBC to Al Jazeera are questioning American media ethics. A Guardian article calls this MSNBC's Watergate moment. Social infantilizers from Europe and Asia share Leavitt's clips, calling her the hero of truth. The audience roars, waving Leavitt goes global signs, chanting Karoline in unison. Even progressive journalists reluctantly admit Maddow's errors. A CNN commentator posts, Maddow went too far. Leavitt's right. Journalism needs honesty. An independent journalist writes, Karoline didn't just beat Maddow. She forced us to look in the mirror. Each quote draws cheers, the crowd shouting, She's unstoppable. Leavitt turns to the host, voice shaping the future. This isn't my victory alone. This is the victory of Americans fed up with fake media. We're building a future where truth reigns supreme. The audience roars, some wiping tears, others waving Leavitt's legacy signs, their passion palpable. The host, voice thick with emotion, turns to Leavitt. Karoline, you've shaken the nation. What's your final message? Leavitt stands straighter, voice forceful, like a wind carrying hope. I came here to defend the truth, to stand for President Trump and Americans. I didn't just face Rachel Maddow. I faced a media system that's lost its mission. Today, we proved honesty will always win. My message to everyone: never let lies overshadow the truth. The audience erupts, applause crashing like waves. Some stand, others wave. Leavitt is the future signs. Chants of Karoline, Karoline, fill the air. A few visibly emotional, tears in their eyes. The host raises a hand. Karoline, you didn't just win a debate. You made history. Rachel, anything to say? Maddow, a shadow, doesn't look up, voice weak. I have nothing to say. Boos swallow her words, one audience member yelling, "Truth won!" Sparking laughter. The host turns to Leavitt, eyes gleaming. Karoline, you've done the impossible. Americans are calling you the fire of truth. A group waves Trump and Leavitt 2028 signs. Others chant, "Truth, truth." The host jumps in. Check X. Leavitt legacy is trending with thousands of posts hailing you as America's hero. Leavitt bows her head in gratitude, voice warm but commanding. Thank you all for standing with the truth. This isn't my victory. It's the victory of Americans who deserve honesty. The crowd claps relentlessly, some visibly moved, tears streaming. The host steps forward. Karoline Leavitt has made history. She leaves this stage as a symbol of truth, a warrior for Americans. Rachel Maddow, MSNBC, and left-leaning media have been exposed. But more importantly, Karoline showed the truth will always find its way. The talk show ends, leaving an indelible mark on millions watching on X, YouTube, and beyond. Karoline Leavitt, with her resounding victory, steps off as a beacon of truth, planting seeds for a movement demanding honest media. Her legacy isn't just exposing Maddow's deceit through the recording and emails. It's reigniting Americans' belief in transparency. Before this night, many accepted half-truths from networks like MSNBC. But Leavitt, with razor-sharp arguments and undeniable evidence, showed the truth's power to overcome any scheme. Karoline Leavitt is genuine,